Jalin Hyatt, who
some more trigger fingers.
Caleb and I have both admitted that we were wrong. We thought he was a product of the system. We thought that Josh Heupel made him a star. Well, since then, he's gone on to, I think he won maybe Rookie of the Week or something. He's gone on to impress people with the New York Giants. He hasn't exploded onto the scene by any stretch of the imagination, but he's been pretty good. Why does Jalin Hyatt suddenly matter? Because Marvin Harrison Jr. Liked a tweet suggesting he should have won the Biletnikoff Award over Hyatt. Why does Hyatt get no respect? And your thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr.?
So this all comes from the controversy of people think Malik Nabers should have won the Biletnikoff over Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a better NFL player, but if you look at the stats alone this year, there's Malik Nabers blew Harrison out of the water in terms of raw numbers. So because of that, there was a tweet by Jeremy Birmingham, who is a recruiting analyst and photographer.
Who ironically is from Tuscaloosa, but anyway.
Really? Because he covers Ohio State for... He covers Ohio State... Oh, gosh. Because his last name's Birmingham.
Jeremy Birmingham. Who's from Addison.
He covers Ohio State for Rivals. And he said Malik Nabers' beef is with Jalin Hyatt, not Marv. His implication is that Marvin Harrison got the award this year as a makeup for not winning it last year when he should have won it last year. Marvin Harrison responds, tell him. And so that's where this is all coming from. Now, look, gun to my head. I'm going to be fair to Marvin Harrison here.
Whoa. That's it. Gun to your head. You know, Marvin Harrison Jr., his dad probably shot
Marvin Harrison Jr.'s dad's gun to my head. That or Alvin Kamara's fist to your head in an elevator. I don't know which one I'd. Okay, anyways, or Ray Rice's fist, but I'm not a girl, so that's okay. Okay, so Marvin Harrison Jr. to me is going to be better in the NFL than Jalin Hyatt or Malik Nabers. I think he's the best of the three. Don't you, Dave? Just straight up NFL talent, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best of the three.
I will say yes, because I think Jalin Hyatt has to continue to fall into that right system where they take advantage of his speed. But I don't think he's incredibly more talented. I just think they have two different skill sets. I think Marvin Harrison's a better all-around receiver.
Okay.
So, yes.
I agree. Now, the better player, that's not who this is award for. The award is for the best producer. And there can be no doubt that Jalin Hyatt outproduced Marvin Harrison last year and that Malik Nabers outproduced Marvin Harrison this year. And so you go to who had the better year. And by the way, based on NFL draft picks, Marvin Harrison had the better quarterback throwing him the ball last year than Jalin Hyatt because C.J. Stroud was picked second and Hendon Hooker was a third-round pick.
Yep, absolutely. Harrison, 77 receptions for 1,263 in 2022. And Hyatt had 67 receptions for 1,267. He had more picks. Had more catches. The yardage is about the same. I mean, you could make that argument, especially since Ohio State was so loaded at receiver in 2022. And they had to spread the ball out a little bit. But I think it comes down to there are some people out there that aren't willing to say exactly what we've said. And that is that Tennessee's offense is not a gimmick offense, that Tennessee's offense did not just produce Jalin Hyatt. And Caleb, that's where Tennessee is, in my opinion. But I think there are still some people out there, especially after an 8-4 season, that they view Tennessee as a gimmick offense, which I don't believe is true.
Yeah, I think there are people, too, that view it as a gimmick offense. But that's really rich considering the fact that Marvin Harrison is playing in the spread offense, which I know it's won a couple of national titles with Urban Meyer. But, okay, in 2005, the spread offense was considered a gimmick offense, wasn't it, when he brought it to the SEC?
Was. So as far as from the SEC's perspective, which program are you most worried about when the college football playoff comes around? I think a lot of people would jump on Ohio State, but you and I are both down on Ryan Day. We do agree on that. Is it Michigan? Is it Southern California with Lincoln Riley. What team, and I'm talking 2024 SEC, okay? So Texas and Oklahoma are in there. What program are you most worried about long term if you get into the college football playoff and you get matched up against this team?
It's always Ohio State. Ohio State's the best job outside of the SEC, and it would be the third best. All coaches being equal, Ohio State would be the third best program in the SEC behind Georgia and LSU. And
why not
if
Michigan?
every team, I don't think. Well, one, because of Jim Harbaugh always flirting with the NFL, and I don't think Michigan's a good job. I think it's a bad job when you compare the talent is not the same in Michigan. And I know NIL changes this. Don't get me wrong. But I still think there is a hometown factor, the amount of talent that's in the state of Ohio and the level of competition they have. And by the way, Ohio State is one of those schools. I'm just going to say it. You brought up Ed Orgeron earlier. Ed Orgeron, Les Miles, and Larry Coker at Miami and LSU, two easy jobs. All they had to do was be a mascot and watch their team win a national title because of all the talent that fell into their lap. Ohio State is that type of school. Ryan Day, I think he's overrated. I don't think he's done a good job. But at Ohio State, talent can fall into your lap and you can get a national title out of it.
Yeah, I believe that Michigan has surpassed Ohio State as the scariest team outside the SEC for the short term. But you're right. The minute Jim Harbaugh goes and he's the head coach for whoever, I'm going to take that statement back. But right now, the NFL doesn't seem to want him because he's flirted with them a couple of different times. I think Michigan is the scariest team that you would play right now because they're fundamentally sound as well. Sports Treasures carrying over 5 million sports treasures and so much more. Follow them on Facebook. Go to facebook.com and then just follow them, Sports Treasures TN, and you'll get those daily updates, which are awesome. But I really believe that Michigan will continue to have more success under Jim Harbaugh than Ohio State will under Ryan Day for the foreseeable future. Now, Jim Harbaugh leaves to the NFL. If he does, all bets are off. But when I look, and I thought, give me a little bit of kudos here. I told you that I thought Michigan was the best football team in September. And I think that's proven out to be true. And I think Harbaugh really has also galvanized that program because of what they went through this season, which was the scouting of other teams. And a school that once cared every bit as much about academics and integrity as they did about athletics realized that academics and integrity don't pay the bills. Athletics does. Let's get behind this Harbaugh guy. And I think they're galvanized as a program. If he stays there for any amount of time, I think he wins a couple of national titles.
Okay. I could see that. Now, Dave, you want to know how many national titles Michigan has since the end of World War II?
One.
Half of one.
Wow.
They share it with Nebraska. Now, they share it with Nebraska. Now, that Nebraska team would have beaten the brakes off them, I think. But in the defense, you told me, I did not know this. I just learned this last week, and I read it up. I didn't realize the rumors of Nebraska and steroids during the 90s. I didn't realize that was like a real big conspiracy theory. Just dropping that on there.
Interesting.
But
by the way, Jim Harbaugh, 59. He'll be 60 on Christmas Eve to the 23rd.
And their half national title was when Ohio State had a Tennessean who couldn't coach worth a flip, but could still win a lot of games because it's Ohio State. And I'm talking about, as you know, John Cooper. And
who, by the way, like Walter Nolan and me, is a Powell High School alum. So there you go.
That is true. There you go. Yes. he was able to win. He was able to win 3 Big Ten titles and finish in the top 5 multiple times, despite not being a great coach. So is Ryan Day the new John Cooper? Is that what we're saying? Because I could get down with that because Ryan Day, I think, is not a good coach.
Wow, I think Day's better than that, but you've got an argument to be made.